Prosperity. In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we'll take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Prosperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Oh yeah, mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Trauma whispers, but love will shout. In this space of trust, there's no doubt. We'll explore the depths of pain and grace, finding strength in every embrace. Welcome to Prosperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Take a breath and join the ride. Together we'll walk side by side with open hearts and open minds. In this podcast space, true peace we'll find. Welcome to Prosperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Prosperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Prosperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Prosperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another week of Prosperity Podcast. So, get ready for a truly special episode as I celebrate the power of enduring connections and incredible impact of connection. Today marks my highly anticipated, exciting return, former guest in a reunion special. I'm humbled and thrilled to welcome back three phenomenal women who profoundly shaped my life. My former counselor, Tina Burckhardt-Cody, my former first grade teacher, Dr. Deanna Kitson, and the Jennifer Simpson. I just was called to say she's like a mentor to me. This is a vulnerable, powerful conversation about healing leadership and a profound perspective that comes from looking back at where we started. This is one you won't want to miss. All right. So before I get started, do y'all want to share anything, talk about anything, or y'all want to roll into the questions?
Well, I'm up for anything. Thank you so much for having me back on. It's so wonderful to see you lovely ladies.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna roll into these questions. Okay, so welcome back. After being a guest on my podcast previously, what was the most surprising feedback or reaction you received from your listeners, the people that tuned in the first conversation that we had? Um,
I guess for me, it was, oh, sorry.
No, go.
It was a lot of my friends and family that didn't really know or understand what I used to do and the role that I played, and just the positive feedback that they gave. And that that was very humbling.
That's good. Because I cried like a baby when I was on that episode. I thought I was
What
gonna cry
was
with Miss Kitson, but I didn't.
okay?
Yeah. Miss
I would
Simpson.
say it was just great to see how far you've come and to get to catch up with you again and learn about your life now and remember what it was like back then for all of us when we were, at different places in our own lives too. And so I would say just the feedback of that and seeing how life has evolved was great. It was inspiring and exciting and it was a fun experience.
Awesome.
Yeah, so a lot of the feedback, the first of all, the grandkids apparently were watching it. They said they couldn't figure out how Gigi was on the TV. But, you know, my actually son-in-law was, you know, texting like you killed it. And just here was the piece too. I think that probably was the most powerful thing or powerful feedback is my daughter, Elizabeth. I think she is home. You know, she's pregnant. She also struggles a little bit with, I think all of us, right? Like some of this anxiety piece. She said after watching this podcast, she's like, you motivated me to want to go back to work. Not that, I mean, she has to stay home for medical reasons, but anyway, seeing some of the struggles, Destiny, and all those pieces, it was very touching for her. Like, you know, I want to go back to work. So the impact that teachers have. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Just had it look, your God was using you to, you know, shed light on where your daughter was not feeling the most, you know, comfortable. And
Yeah.
that's a blessing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I have text back and said, well, then it was a success.
That's right.
Blessings. All right, next question. Now that you're back for a reunion special, what is the biggest thing you feel has shifted or changed in your own personal perspective since you last were on the podcast?
Oh, it's a hard question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is the first time I'm looking at Miss Simpson and I literally see Peyton. Like it's the first time I realized like how it looks like you.
I was like, you see him behind because he's here in the house. He might walk by any moment. So you might actually see Peyton at some point. So that's funny. I think it's a lot of what Deanna just said, in that it's just a reminder of our why. Like we all got in this to help people, and because we love kids and we love making a difference. And I think that just in reflection of the podcast, it was a reminder of how important that is. Sometimes we all get down with the daily tasks and the number of them that we all have. All of us have so many irons in the fire. Sometimes we forget to look back and reflect on that have happened in our careers. And so I think that would be what I took away from it is not to forget for all we all get to make a difference. That's, I guess, what I would have taken away from it.
Yeah. And I think too, for me, I don't know if it's necessarily a biggest like shift in my perspective, but bringing it back to, of course I've been out of teaching for so long, right? This leadership role, but I think it is really that notion that, leadership, teaching, mentoring, it's not about fixing anyone. It's really about the relationship that you build and allowing the person to be who they are, seeing a person, and then really understanding that their background experiences doesn't not define who someone is as a human. That's who they are at the moment. But then, really understanding that it's beyond that, and it's really about that relationship. And that's, even for years, no one can really remember, right? Probably what you said, but it's how you treated them. And I feel like that's probably why all three of us are sitting here as guests on your podcast, right?
Yeah.
Right. I kind of want to add to that too, like both of what you ladies said. I agree with that. And also I think after being on the podcast with you, Destiny, even if I'm not working, you can still make a difference in someone's life. It's just everyone is going through something. After being on that podcast, I want to be better. I want to be there for someone. And it could be something as simple as just showing kindness to a stranger, because everyone is going through something, and just to show some kindness, show some compassion. So it made me want to be better and do better.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so next question. Transitioning to the next question. I titled this episode A Silent Return. How did you feel when I reached out about having this special reunion and reflecting on shared history?
Well, I would say, Destiny, in my mind, it's the it's the true tale of paying it forward, right? Like, now that we get to see where you are in life and the things that you're doing and the audiences that you have a voice with, we get to see that now you're changing people's lives too. And so it's the relationship, like these ladies said, that we got to have with you, but now we know that you have grown too, and you get to do that same thing for other ladies or people who need help. And to me, that's what the reunion idea is that it reaffirms all those connections. And, you know, one of us isn't just one people, we're all of us together. And that's what helps people to grow and learn and improve. And the fact that you're a part of that too is just super exciting. So
Thank you. Sometimes when I'm doing stuff, I just be like, let me channel my inner Jennifer Simpson. What would,
scary. It's a scary day.
I know. I have to. Sometimes I'll be like, let me think back on the people that blessed me, and there were people that didn't give up on me, and I'll be like, yeah, they got a strength that I don't know if I have, but if they have it, I have it too. So I got to channel that in it.
But I think that's true for all of us. I mean, I can tell you that I still go back to things that people have said to me in my career that have made a difference. And so when I'm trying to figure out how to solve a problem, I'll reflect back like to our superintendent, Dr. Adams, when we were all in Winsville. He was such a good mentor and leader. And, I still think and reflect back on the things that he taught us. So, it's that same thing, right? It's the whole concept of pay it forward.
God got a sense of humor. He be sending me some people that remind me of myself when I was younger, and I'm like, I don't know.
That's because God knows you can handle it and you can be there for them and point them in the right direction and show them some love.
That's right.
I need to know how I was from the outside perspective, because the way I feel how I was, and I'm seeing some stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they had patience. Why did you do it?
Yeah. And I'll say, Destiny, of course, right now, oh my gosh, it's a really busy time. And so, inviting us back, of course, excited. And then there's that piece where schedules are always so full, right? So I'm going to say being transparent. And then it's that piece that's reminding me though, right? Of course, the opportunity. So you have to take time for different, conversations, if you will, that are really meaningful and grounded in purpose. And so that's always worth making time for.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was very honored when you asked me to come back for the union special. Very honored. And I love being able to see
special.
Dr. Kitson.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be big for you too, because I was like, I don't know when the last time you saw each other.
Long time.
But I know the last time I saw both of you together was first grade. And that was like what, maybe like 90, 97, maybe 98.
Yeah.
Well, and I know you had both of our hearts. We both just loved you. Wanted to be there for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, y'all had patience that a lot of people didn't. Because I remember a lot of the things that I did and I said, and they were just like, no way. It's like, nah, I see different. And I love that though. And it was the same thing in Miss Simpson, because it's funny thing is that they later on, Miss Kitson and Miss Simpson crossed paths based off of being a part of the school district. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
but what we
funny
didn't know
everybody
is that we
connected.
shared destiny in common. That was the thing, is we were friends for a long time before we realized that we had destiny in common.
Yep.
Deanna when Destiny was younger, and me when she was a little bit older. So that was a funny day when we realized, we're like, wait, I know this girl, So that was cool how that all fit together.
Yeah. And God, I'm telling you, God has a way of connecting people, because I was mind blown of that.
Yeah.
But transition into this next question. In all the time that has passed between our connections, me as a student, me as a client, me as just someone that came into your life, what is one memory of me that often surfaces in your mind? Now, Miss Simpson, I already know what you're going to say, so I'm not going to stop you from saying it. Be you.
I have to choose one? That's really hard.
If it's the one I'm thinking, that can't be hard to tell.
Well, I won't tell them all. I'll let you ladies go first. I'll let you do yours while I sort through which one I want to talk
Uh,
about.
Miss Kitson
uh,
is curious. She's like, I don't remember this story.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't. Yeah.
Go ahead. You know what? I give you
what,
permission to say it. Go ahead, Miss Simpson. I was young, so I'm
So
different.
remember, I said for me in first grade, you were very energetic. You were very intuitive. You knew, right? And that is a skill set. So again, it was that piece that you knew who you could trust. You knew who had your best interest. So again, very intuitive. Those were, and again, as a first grader, you were very eager, right? To fit in, to have friends, to come to first grade and just be a part. Remember, to be a part of what first graders do. And again, I remember you coming dressed to a T. You had everything matched. Now, maybe by the end of the day, you're all dirty, but you had lines and creases. Your hair was perfect, and a big smile. That's what I
yeah,
remember.
yes, for me, it's that huge smile, her spirit. And I wish I can still picture you. I don't want to say walking down the hallway. Like, what was it? A bounce? Was it a strut? A strut maybe?
Bounce. I think a
A,
bounce. It was
a
a
bounce.
bouncing down the hallway. I can
Yes,
visualize that, Miss Tina.
I
Yes.
can too.
Yeah.
Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it, and like I
Yes.
wanna, like hug that little girl. You know?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, her spirit, her smile, and then her like the old soul in her eyes, the old soul in her eyes. Guys, you nailed it. She was
Yeah.
intuitive. And
Yeah.
she could look at you,
Oh,
and she knew. You're right. She knew who she could trust and who she couldn't. Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go, Destiny. I'm gonna go with the my memory of when we moved, helped you moved into your apartment in Kansas City. We came there and had a few items to help you get set up, and I just remember how proud you were of this, what was going to become your next chapter. You know, you were in school at that point, right? And just learning and finding your way, and just still so excited. You know, that's the thing, you're always excited about what's going to come next. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I feel is one of your big strengths, is you're always looking at what can you do to get better, what can you do to, take that next step in life. And so getting to be around you after you'd made it through some pretty tough times, and you were moving into that new apartment all on your own, and getting to be a part of that, that's one of the things that I just, that's a core memory for me of you, and and getting to see you feel some of that success. Like, that was cool, that was a neat day.
And I appreciate
I just was glad you let me be a part of it.
I honestly, that was my first time like being stable. That was my first apartment. That was my first time coming off from being homeless, from escaping. I wouldn't say escaping. You're leaving my grandmother's, that
Yeah.
predicament, and just the fact that you and your family drove up and rented a U-Haul, and it was a blessing because during that time I didn't have anybody with you. It was
Right.
you, and it's challenging.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing.
Yeah, and that's some of those things that, sometimes people just take for granted, that there's going to be somebody there to help you do that when you have to move, and you move in an apartment, and then you realize, wait a minute, there's nothing in this apartment. What am I need a couch. I need a TV. And so the fact that we were able to gather some items and help you establish that apartment, that was cool. That was really fun because you knew what you wanted to do next, and you'd worked really hard to get to that place. And so that was cool. That was a neat day.
It
Yeah.
was. And
Yeah.
it's a blessing because I rarely get to see Mr. Simpson. So it was a blessing to see him because
Yeah.
he was
With
always
us that
calling
day.
me when I was young.
Yeah. 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 He works a lot.
Because I was like, oh, Mr. Simpson. I remember the first time I met him. He was
Yeah.
just smiling. I was
Yeah.
just beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that. That
He's a
bring up
good guy. I think I'm gonna keep him around.
it definitely, you sharing that brought up some emotions because I'm just like, wow, like that just shows like just that's a reminder of how grateful I am and how I need to just still, and not that I'm not humble, but just remember those humble beginnings because I've come a
Right.
long way. So that was a seed
Yeah.
that you planted, and it's definitely a seed was planted and it's being watered, and I'm definitely, I'm grateful. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Transitioning to the next question. We first connected, Miss Kitson, when I was around 5 or 6 years old, and then again, um, because you fought for me to be back in your class for a second time because I was you didn't feel like I was ready to move to the next grade. Um, how did the needs in your approach differ when supporting me during those two distinctive stages?
Well, I don't, again, that was a long time ago. Um, when I think about, here's interesting enough. Let me just share with you. I'm back. I don't remember how long I had been teaching, but for any of you listening to this podcast, I very, very rarely believe in retaining a kid. So, do you know there's research that shows, let me, on a side note, okay, that it does not have the impact that we want. There's no research out there that shows that retention actually has a positive impact. So I'm not quite sure, to be quite honest with you. I may have, when you know better, you do better.
Mhm.
By Miss Angelo, right? Um, but when I think about that for you in first grade, what I do remember is advocating for you out of a place of very much concern about what I believed you were able to do, right? Um, and it was the piece of thinking about, how to best support your needs. And I think, at the time it had to have been some of the academic pieces. Well, what we do know is kids come maybe with, it's those, and I'm going to say unfinished learning, I think is a positive way to say it instead of gaps. There's just unfinished learning. And sometimes based on background experiences, especially with the language development, all of those pieces, the environment, right, that you come from, especially at an early age, really has a significant contributing factor to how you progress and how you're succeeding in kindergarten, first grade, early years. Um, but to answer the question, I think it was always about, right, what I thought was in the best interest. I don't know if I would have made, if you will, if I was a first grade teacher now, right? Thinking about that, that's also something maybe I can ask you. Being in first grade 2 times, let's reverse that role. What impact did that have on you?
Um, honestly, I was just like, oh, I get to be with Miss Kitson twice. That's fine with me.
Okay, fantastic. That makes me really happy.
You was my
Yeah.
person when I was younger. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
well, that didn't matter to me.
yeah,
I just know I trusted you. And I just know my grandmother was like, because they were gonna move me on. You were like, no, she's not ready. And I appreciated that because they were not gonna let me in your class again. And you were like, yeah, she needs to be with me.
yeah,
And I remember you really taking out the time with me to, just like academically and just like just emotionally and just it's in general,
yeah.
like just it was neat.
Absolutely. So it was, yeah, and maybe honestly, well, it was that piece too. And I can say now, it's always that piece where you're, especially when you have such a strong bond with the child. Sometimes you're like, well, no one else can do it the way I should be doing it. So I may as well just keep her for one other year. No, I get it. I can't really remember that far, but what I could imagine, I could just only think like, I don't know, Miss Tina, do you remember any of it? Were you like back then, that long ago? That seems like, it's
It's
such a long time,
oh
but
my goodness. There's
yeah,
pieces that I remember, but yes, it's such a long time ago. And then like, the brain fog and the mom fog and all of
right.
that. Like I wish I had a better memory. Like Destiny, when we were chit chatting before the podcast, she remembered what type of car I drove. I'm like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about that type of what I used to drive. So
I
I
remember a lot.
wish I had that.
That's what I'm saying. She was very intuitive. Remember, yes, she
Miss
knew if I changed my eyeliner, She knew, honestly, she did. She absolutely did. She studied people. She knew if I needed to get my hair colored. She knew, listen, and this was the best story. She knew, and again, probably what? That was maybe like my third or fourth year of teaching. So then, when principals come in to do an evaluation, when that principal left, she said, again, I tell the story, Miss Kitson, I even tell the story to to some of the principals and some of the, teachers that I supervise and support. Miss Kitson, why do you always act different when the principal comes in the room? She called me out like, either A, nicer or something. I don't know, but that's Destiny Smith. She knew,
Yeah.
right? You're not being sincere to how you normally act with us. Yep.
Like Miss Kitson used to always wear. It was like you wore this dress, and I remember. I think I asked you about it. It was a red dress that had like polka dots or flowers on it, and I was just like, "Why do you always wear that dress?"
Yeah.
Because one thing about Miss Kitson, she stayed in red. I think that was your color back then.
Red.
Red
That's funny.
lipstick, she was reading it out, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Why?" But I know I realized when I was younger too. That's when I knew that the benefit of leveraging, meaning as in if you wanted information, you had to come up with something. Because I remember you used to ask me a lot of questions, Miss Tina, and I know I wouldn't answer them unless you gave me Twizzlers or chips. And then that's when
Oh,
we started exchanging stuff. I had a tea party set situation at one point. I had all types of stuff. I look. I learned that if you wanted information from me, you had to come with something.
I had to bribe, didn't I? Had to bribe you with instructional Twizzlers were my favorite, and I think they were one of your favorites too.
Oh, for sure, for
Because
sure.
I ate them too while we were talking.
Because I was mad a lot of times. I'm like, why are you pulling me out of class? She was like, it's my job. Well, can you do your job another time?
yeah.
I didn't like that. I did not like that. I'm like, are you pulling me out of class and they're asking me where I'm going? Like, no, don't do that. Well, okay. Next question. Do you remember what it was about my 6-year-old self, Miss Kitson, that first caught your attention or sparked your desire to pour into me?
Mm. Well, again, I think for me, it's that 6-year-old self. It's about you. Um, you could just see who you were. Like you wanted to do a good job. You wanted to make the right choices. You showed up I mean, there probably was very not many days that you missed school. You came every single day, right? I think, if you will, excited to be there. Um, and I also am going to say, as a teacher, probably there was some pieces of your background, right? That as a teacher, you're like, okay, this student has experienced a few things, but it's all about ensuring that she gets, access to quality education and the quality support to really, you can see that little potential in the 6-year-old, right?
Mhm.
Um, again, your energy. I mean, it was your energy and your smile. It was very contagious, right? It made you, and your stories. Oh my gosh. And again, I wish it was almost like you kept a journal, and the stuff, SHIT, you would say, was so funny. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yes, I remember her being so funny, so funny. And yeah, just when you think about what she experienced at such a young age, what she was exposed to, yeah, you just wanted to wrap your arms around her and make sure she knew she was loved and she knew that she mattered.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
I appreciate that, y'all. I really do.
yeah.
I'm not gonna get emotional. That's all I'm saying. Um,
Good.
we gonna forward to this next question. This next question is for Miss Jennifer Simpson. Thinking back to my teenage years, what was the biggest challenge you observed me facing, and what guided your approach to offering support during that vulnerable time?
How honest do you want me to be? You
I,
ready?
look, be Jennifer Simpson honest. That's the only place I want you to go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, Destiny, the hardest thing, the most challenging thing was that back then, as much as you wanted to do better and, learn and progress, whenever people would start to get close to you, you would start to push them away. And so you would often sabotage relationships because you got scared, right? And so it was hard to see that because it was hard to be able to tell, is this person really, causing harm to Destiny, or is she upset because this person's trying to help her, right? And so for a lot of years, it was kind of gating that and being able to say, no, she actually is in a really bad situation right now, and this is someone that's doing harm to her. You know what I mean? Versus knowing that, no, this person really cares about her and she's just, pushing them away because that's kind of what you did for a while. You would kind of push people away. And so it was trying to help you stay focused on, like, eye on the prize, right? Like, don't let all the people that make so much noise prevent you from getting where you need to be. And so just trying to help you navigate all those different relationships that came in and out of your life, because there were a lot of people that came in and out, and some people were there because they wanted to help you, and that wasn't always the case, right? You and I know there were some situations where people were not there to help you. They were not really represent their true self in their relationship with you, right? And so it was trying to help you be able to, yes, be close to people and let them help you, but also being able to see past that and know that you still have to make yourself a priority, and take people with a grain of salt, right? Like, don't let them steal something from you that you have. That was kind of a challenge, because I wasn't there with you every day. You were at different schools. And so I would hear different sides of the story, and trying to help navigate, to help you through was tough. That last school, it got rough, right? In high school, your last year of high school got rough, and you had worked so hard, and it got to a point where there were some people that were trying to take that away from you. Um, and sometimes even when you were succeeding, you kind of struggled to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't sure what to do with that, would succeed. You weren't sure how to handle those successes. So it was really important to me that we had the right people to make sure that you did get to succeed, and you did get to walk across that stage, and you did get to graduate from high school, and that you did get to move on to college, right? Because those were the things that were big goals for you. And so I think that was hard. You know what I mean? I wanted to protect you from all those people, and protect you from yourself sometimes, because sometimes you could sabotage some things. And so trying to help you through all was always something that was a big priority of mine. That
Beautifully said.
makes sense?
It does. It does. I
Yeah.
saw this meme on Facebook, and thank you for sharing that. And it said, "I just knew all my life I didn't want anybody to bother me." And I thought to myself, I'm like, I just knew all my life I didn't want people to bother me, but I really do enjoy people. I just think now I have a better sense of people, but my ability to just be like, no, I don't want to be bothered. Like, I think it's better. I have better relationships with people now because I'm able to
Yeah.
know the boundaries that I didn't know then. That was unhealed to for survival mode to healing and out of survival mode. Now I have a better understanding.
Yeah.
Let's do it. My next question is for you, Miss Tina. From your
Okay.
perspective as a former counselor in general, what was the most significant change you noticed in the mental health needs of your clients over the course of your career?
Okay. I think that making sure children, people, adults, anyone that struggles with any type of mental health, depression, anxiety, that it's okay. That it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, because we all struggle with emotions. We all struggle with issues at times, and just letting them know that you are okay and that it's all right to feel that way. And that, I guess, too, feel like since I've been out of it for a while, but I feel like mental health needs need to be addressed as like a whole, and that people go to the doctor when they're sick, but it's like, okay, it's okay to see a counselor when you're struggling. It's okay. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong. That it's okay to get that
I
help.
agree. I agree. I agree. Beautifully said. Miss
Thank you.
Miss Simpson, you saw literally a lot happening every day with different students on the back end of being someone that worked in transportation for Winsfield School District. What insights did that role give you into the often unseen struggles that students carry?
I would say one of the things that's unique, wasn't unique for me in my job in Winsville, is that I got to see kids when they, left early childhood and they went to elementary ed, or when they left elementary and went to middle school, or when they left middle and went to high school. So I kind of got to have a back row seat to watching kids go through their educational careers. And I was there for 11 years, so I was able to see some kids make it through a lot of those grades, right? And so because I got to be a part of the IEP process, and then also just their day-to-day lives, getting on and off the bus and going to and from school, and that gave me kind of a different perspective, I think, than the people that were in the classroom with a student every day for 1 year, but then that child left. Now I know that you were with Deanna for 2 years, but that's rare, right? Usually it's 1 year, maybe two or three, and then either you move on or the teacher moves on or whatever. And so that kind of gave me a different perspective, which I really enjoyed. I loved being able to kind of be that conduit, to help provide some consistency. And oftentimes it was kids would even leave the Winsfield School District and go to an outside placement. And so I would still get to be a part, like with you, your education, even after you've left Winsfield and you're somewhere else. And that was true of a lot of kids. And so, sometimes you guys were on the bus for hour and a half each way. So that meant for 3 hours a day, we were a part of your lives. And so I got to see it from a different perspective. I wasn't the one that knew whether you were, reading on grade level or whether your math skills were what they should be. That was not my role. It was very different than that. So
I
it was just a different perspective.
I remember when you try to. I feel like she tried to discipline me and show me something. You put me on that bus. You put me, I'm just gonna put it out there. You put me on the short bus, and the kids, like the protocols when you get on that short bus, everybody was like, you got assistance with being buckled up. I was not liking that. I did not like that seatbelt, and they were trying to help me. I was not getting on that bus. You was like, let's just get on the bus, please. If you just do this for a week, we'll switch you back. And I'm like, nah, you switch me back now. I don't want to be on the bus.
Yeah.
I don't want my seatbelt. I don't know why this lady is talking to me like this, and you trying to punish me. I don't like that. Yeah, you got me with
Oh,
that.
oh, I bet we could all agree that if there's one thing you didn't like, it was rules and guidelines, Test.
Right.
You always wanted to operate outside of the lines.
I mean,
Well,
it got me in some
listen,
situations.
yes, listen, friends, I hate to be, so I'm looking at the time here. So can I
Yeah,
just say, again, thank you so much for having me on here. Ms. Tina, of course, Jen, just great, great humans, and the power and the impact that relationships have. And right, we know that change starts with one, I think, single brave step, right? And just remembering that every conversation, I think all of us have said, just different people that have impacted and inspired, even inspired us. And then, the adults that have inspired either a young student, young child, to even, a child in high school. And so everybody, we just keep showing up every day, right? And really believing in the power of the impact that we have, like almost one conversation at a time. I think that's so powerful. So I'm going to log off. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch.
Okay. All right.
All
Take care.
right.
Bye.
all right.
ID.
I got you. I got you.
You got me? Okay.
All right. Okay. Right. So yes, I did not necessarily like rules. I just didn't like to be told what to do. So
Right. Oh, I know.
and I've been working on that as an adult too, because it's just like, come on now, there's always a different way.
Yeah.
There's always, and that's when I realized that I think it was in middle school, and I don't know who idea it was, but they started letting me take community college law school classes. Like I was taking like pre-law classes to keep me entertained, and it kept me entertained for a little bit until I
Yeah.
realized like, nah, let me go ahead and try something else. Then I start trying that thing happened on the bus, and I was like, you know what, we gonna head wrap this up. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
y'all was trying to y'all was trying to teach. You was definitely teaching me a lesson. He was like, "Look, you gonna act like that? I'm gonna put you around people that act like that." And I was like, "I'm just playing. Hold up, I'm just playing." And he was like, "I tell you, you gonna be around those type of people." So yeah, I had to learn real fast.
Yeah. I know those are some hard lessons in life, right? They are. Those are tough lessons, but yeah, it's part of the deal. But I always knew that we would have, and Tina, I would guess that you saw this a lot in your career too, right? Is that if the kiddo has a say in it, at least a little bit of a say, there's a better chance of it being successful.
Yes.
So
Give choices.
yeah,
And even if they're refusing to do something, like, all right, you refuse to do this, then this is what happens, and helping them
yeah,
understand the consequences.
right,
But,
right. It's true for all of us on any given day, you know,
yeah,
even as adults, it's a lot easier for us to be successful if we get to have a say in what direction we're going.
right,
So,
right.
yeah,
Look,
yeah,
have some, yeah.
yeah.
Um, did you both ever fully grasp the impact you had on me in those foundational years? How does knowing that now, years later, make you feel?
Makes my heart happy,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of times we don't we don't know how to impact someone, and we don't know a lot of times how they. I still think of kiddos that had a special place in my heart, and I don't know where they're at now or how they're doing, and I hope and pray that they're okay. But it was like it's magical being able to see what you've become and what you're doing in life, Destiny. It's amazing, and yeah, my heart is happy.
Yep, I agree. It's been such a journey to be able to, and such an honor to be a part of your journey, like to get to see, what you were like back then, what you're like in the middle, what you're like now. It's just it makes us all know that anybody can make a difference on any given day. And now to watch you make a difference in other people's lives, that's I agree. Magical is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, what advice, beautifully said, and thank you for saying that. What advice would you give someone that is, they are new to coming into people's lives, like, and doing what you all have done for me? Like, what advice would you give them?
Be present. Um, don't get discouraged by the pushing back or the negative behavior, because a lot of times that's their way of asking for attention, their way of asking for help. Um, Compassion and love.
I totally agree. And the other thing I would just add to that is I think it's super important for people to know their role, right? Like, Destiny, you had a lot of needs in your life, but I couldn't be your grandma. I couldn't be your mom, right? Like, I couldn't be your teacher. I'm not a teacher. You know what I mean? So I think that for any of us, it's important to learn what our role is, in helping people, because none of us can be everything to anyone, right? We all play different roles, and I think sometimes that's easy but oftentimes it's not, right? And so I think that, having that compassion and that commitment, because I think commitment's a big part of it, not giving up, being present, like you said, when things get tough, but also giving the person enough space to learn and make some of their own decisions, while you support, I just think that's all part of knowing your role. And I think we all play different roles with different people at different times, right?
Right.
So I think being accepting of that, listening to what God tells us,
Mhm.
uh, reading the person, I think that's important too.
That's
I,
really
I really like that, knowing your role, because you're
Yeah.
right. We all sometimes we play a lot of different roles throughout the day. So I like that, because I think that's where probably some people get burnt out, because they're trying to play too many roles for a person. And so I like that, knowing your roles.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Thanks.
Okay, now it sounds like Miss Simpson needs to write a book.
Yeah.
Book on
Yeah, wheels on the bus, right? The wheels on the bus. It's like everything we do, it just keeps going round and round.
When you said that, that made me think about that short bus you put me on.
Oh, that's
You laugh
funny.
now, but I was mad. I was mad back then. I was so mad at you. Mad. But like, so there's many people that want to step into positions of being, mentors, mother figures, father figures, this any type of impact in someone's life, but they fear making a mistake. What did you do to balance setting boundaries with showing genuine heartfelt care?
Hmm.
Well, boundaries are hard. They just are. Boundaries are hard, and they have to ebb and flow. But there were times, I mean, I'll just kind of talk about your life, Destiny. There were times where I could be more involved and not others, right? And so I had 3 kids too, right? And so there were times where you needed me to play different roles in your life. And there's times where you needed me to kind of back out a little bit and let you learn and flourish. And so I think that we all make mistakes, and there's not a one of us that does this thing called life perfectly. There was only one of those, right? And he's sitting next to God, right? But otherwise, there's not a perfect human, and to try to live up to that is to expect something that's not realistic. So I think it's important that you not be afraid to help, but you also recognize, when to do what in someone's life.
Yeah. And I agree. Boundaries can be hard. And um, I guess advice I would give to someone just starting out, trying to mentor, be there for someone, talk to your coworkers, talk to your supervisor, talk to talk to your um, talk to someone else that's been there.
Mhm.
Pray, pray.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Collaborating with other people is big. You can definitely, there's always something to be learned from the conversation, like Deanna said. So,
So
yeah.
looking back, do you all? I'm not gonna say you probably regret it. Do you have any regrets, or just looking back, you just like, I don't know, like, are you glad that you took out the time to hear from God and be a part of my life?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm very thankful. Very thankful. I
Yeah.
feel
No
blessed.
regrets.
Very
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of
I,
what we had kind of talked about that before, right? Like you feel like we did a lot to help you, but you helped us a lot too.
amen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So no regrets, not a single one.
What advice would you give to the people that God is sending next in my life? So that they should know.
I kept reading, like, I follow different spiritual sites on Instagram, and a
Mhm.
theme that keeps popping up, that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called.
Okay.
And I
Mm.
love that. I love that.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's just exactly that. Be there. I would recommend them to be there when you needed them and to let you fly when you need to fly.
I like that.
I like that. And don't forget to realize that I am more loving now than I was before. And I'm probably like back then I was like, do not touch me. And I could a little bit now, but now I'm just like, we got a level 2 clinger. Destiny unhand me. Like I'm much more loving now. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I have to just love on this person. So it's like, yeah, you gotta say unhand me, Destiny. That's where I'm at in my life right now. Where just love
Destiny,
is.
I think you've always been loving. I think that love looks different for different people and at different times. But if it wasn't for the amount of love that I saw in you, I don't know that I would have been near as engaged. So love might not have been hugs and kisses, but love was, you definitely had a love language. We all do, and luckily we spoke that same language, right? So it's different for different times and different places, but you've always been loving, if you ask me.
Yeah. 'Cause I remember I just remember it was a time where we were it was like a downtime. It was on the weekend, and I just seen you like loving on your kids.
Yeah.
Like I want her to love on me too. It was a moment where I was just like, that actually looks pretty nice, just the experience. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I never could say that's what I needed.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, I don't know how Miss Simpson will feel. So I just thugged it out. I was like, I'm cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And we made it through.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I felt like I wanted to share that because I had my moments of just experiencing things and just I think one of the hardest things in my journey is just watching people experience love and knowing I wanted that, but even if I got it, we was gonna have a problem because it was like I don't even know how to do that. It's like you want a hug, that make me mad because I don't come from hugs, but I want a hug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
so now it's more so like, oh, I like this. Like
Yeah. That's good.
So yeah,
That's
just
healing.
watch.
There's a lot of healing that's happened that allows you to do that now, right? Like you said, you didn't know how to do that before, but you've come through a lot and gone through a lot of healing and a lot of work to be able to appreciate that now. So that's awesome.
Yeah. God is being good though, because he is a promise keeper for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely showed up and showed out to show me exactly that he has not forgotten about me. So, this is a result of who I am today, is a result of who you all were, but this God continuing to send people to pour into me, love on me, and just help me just go to that next level. But
Awesome.
I got a few more questions and we're gonna wrap this up because I know that the husbands are hungry, the kids are probably hungry, and I don't want to hold
Yeah, I got to cook some dinner tonight. Yeah, I gotta go too. Yeah.
you. Okay, so um for the listener who feels a desire, no, we're not gonna do that one. Okay. What is one hope you have for your continued journey in work that you're doing now?
That I would say just that can even though I'm not working, I can still have a positive impact on someone, that I can still show love or kindness to someone that's needing it. Um, yeah, I guess that just being able to help someone, no matter how that looks.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's about like one of my hopes would be that I would always help people to want to help themselves. I really believe that, none of us can do it for someone else. They have to want to put in and, Destiny, you're one that was willing to put in the hard work. And I think that was part of the allure, right? And so I guess I would hope that I have the opportunity to continue to be a part of people that want to improve themselves or their departments or their lives or, whatever it is, because I love to watch things grow and improve. And so I hope God continues to put me in places where I can do that.
Nice. What are some hopes that you both have that I continue to do with this podcast?
Can continue reaching people who have been through trauma, knowing that that doesn't have to define them, that they can heal and that they can be happy they can be successful, they can be loved, and that they're going to be okay.
And keep modeling it for them.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
understand things that some of the rest of us don't always understand, but you've been through things and you can help people who've had similar experiences, and maybe their experiences are different. But you know how to model that love and support, just exactly like she said. And you keep showing up for people. That's what I hope for you in this podcast, is that you're able to keep showing up for people.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you for sharing that. I have one more question. Just one more. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Finally, if you could offer a word of encouragement to the younger version of yourselves who was just starting in Winsville School District as a counselor or transportation, director, coordinator, what would it be
What advice I would have for them? Is that what you said?
for yourself?
Or for myself, my younger
Oh,
self?
Yeah.
I'd say that it's all right to make mistakes. It doesn't mean you failed, because even when you make mistakes, you you can learn from them, you can move forward, and you can still help people.
Beautiful.
I think my advice to younger me would be hang in there.
Mm.
Some days are harder than others, the successes, and look for those moments of joy in every day, because they're always there. And sometimes you got to slow down to be able to find them. And so that would be my advice to my young self is, slow down a little bit, give yourself some grace, and celebrate the successes that you get to witness.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Before I do my outro, is there anything else you want to share, you want to ask me, or you want to say?
Thank you for having us. And boy, I've loved meeting you, Jennifer.
Yeah,
And
you too.
you have such a way with words, and
Thanks.
you put them in beautifully.
Well, I enjoyed meeting you as well. And Des, thanks for bringing us all together, right? That's what
Yeah.
we love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
we gonna do a reunion thing where I'm probably gonna come down there. I don't know, probably most likely come down there. I don't know. We maybe at a restaurant, maybe at the bed and breakfast. I don't know.
Love it. Love it.
all
But
right, you keep doing you.
thank
Yes.
you.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
Dusty. And hang in there with graduate school. You got this. We believe in you.
Thank
Absolutely.
I need okay, so you're free to hop off. I'm gonna do my
All
outro and I will talk to you both later.
right.
All
Bye.
right.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Peace.
Okay. What an absolute gift this conversation has been. My deepest gratitude goes out to these incredible women, Jennifer Simpson, Dr. Deanna Kitson, and Tina Burckhardt-Cody, for their exciting return and for bravely and graciously sharing our shared history. Hearing their perspective on the past and seeing their continued impact is the very definition of prosperity. To all of you who are touched by this mentorship, their teaching, their leadership, their just God-fearing just spirit, the most meaningful way that you can thank them and support this show is by heading over to YouTube and typing in PERSPERITY podcast, hitting that like and subscribe, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button, click that bell so you'll never miss an episode of Prosperity Podcast. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Until then, mindful moments, eco prosperous lives. Bye.
In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we will take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Prosperity Podcast.